Hello everybody, how's everyone doing? How are you all doing? Can you hear me okay? Good morning. Hi Don. Hi Patty. Hi Robert. Hello Dorina. Good morning everyone. I'm glad I could see all of you. So today I'm going to do just a quick webinar. I'm just going to talk about how to bring in SVG files or TRW design files that we've created and bringing them into Silhouette Studio. So have any of you done that before? Have any of you used our files in Silhouette Studio? Yes. Cool. Well, the great thing is, one of the things is to note is to bring in files into Silhouette Studio, you do need the Designer Edition upgrade. You can't do it with the basic Silhouette Studio, so that's one of the reasons why we do recommend Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, along with the fact that you can do the Rhinestone feature. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Do all of you have a basic understanding of Silhouette Studio? Okay, so it looks like you do. I love designing in it, so it's not very often that I bring designs in because I love doing it myself. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, I'm on our website. I always like to start there for all of you, just as a little home base. So, of course, we have a lot of information here that you need. Always can check our trade show schedule, our calendar, tutorials. But what I'm going to do is to grab your files, you're going to go into your orders. So I'm already logged in, so I'm going to jump over here to our store. So you can see you're at the store, and you can see I'm logged in. Hello, Lisa TRW, and I'm in my orders tab. So I just went through to some of our free designs to show you. Excuse me if I go out for a minute. I'm still fighting this cough, so I don't want to cough in your ear. So I have a bunch of these free designs that I'll be able to show you how to do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with this first one. For all of you who have been in my webinars, you know that I love dogs. So since we had a free dog lover design in our free design files, it was a no-brainer. I definitely should do that. So when you go in your orders tab, you're going to go over it. We have a PNG, an EPS, and SVG. The PNG is just a mock-up to show people. The EPS is the vector file, and this would be if you have Corel Draw. So what we're looking for is this SVG file. It's a cut file. So you just go in and you'll download the SVG files for all of the corresponding one. And then this one has two different designs. So you would just get this deck 1 and deck 2. So I've already gone through and downloaded these. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump over to my Silhouette Studio. So here I am. My Silhouette Studio is open. One thing to note, I do mention this in all my webinars, I am using the Business Edition, so it does look a little bit different, but all the same functionality that I am using, you will be able to use in your Designer Edition. So over here, you'll see our recovered documents, the typical thing for just open Silhouette Studio, so I'll close that. So what I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go over to File, Open. You can also hit this button as well. So whichever way you are familiar with, you can do that. So I'm going to go over to my folder with my Silhouette images, and then I have an SVG folder. So you can see all the SVG files. If you do have trouble, if you have saved your files into a folder and you don't see it, check your drop-down. There's a possibility that you have only Silhouette Studio in here. I like to do all graphics files, or you could do all files. So whichever you would prefer, but always make sure you're checking in here if you aren't seeing the file that you're looking for. So I'm going to go into Dog Lovers and bring it in. So it's loading the SVG file. So here's how we get the TRW designs. They're all grouped together, and we have the colors here already. So this is a rhinestone design, so I recommend using these sets with the box around it, because this is your box for your sticky flock template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this design, I'm going to go to Object and ungroup it. So now we have all of these separated, and as you can see, each stone is separated as well. So you don't want that. So you want it to ungroup everything, and then I'm going to grab all of these again and group that again. So group this, and I'll probably need to zoom out just a little bit. And then I'm going to group this. And then I'll grab this and go ahead and group this, and I'm just going to move this out of my way. So I'm going to move this out of my way. I'm going to go back to my area. The important thing to remember is do not resize this, because these stones are set for the proper cut size. So if you do resize this, you are going to modify the size of the stones. So you can see these stones are getting bigger, so you don't want that. So I'm going to hit undo. So you're basically ready to cut. So what this is this is separated by color. So this is your blue right here, and this is your pink. So the next thing you do is you just set up your cut area for your sticky flock, and you're ready to go. So if you are using the 9-inch roll of sticky flock with your silhouette, you're just going to go ahead and set up your design page. So you'll do 9 inches, and then since you can cut it right on the roll, you can just do your height, whichever you'd like. I'll just do 24 to be safe. So obviously you're not going to use all that material, but it does give you a little bit more room to work with. So you can go over here and you just arrange this for how it'll fit onto your sticky flock. So obviously this is a little bit wider, so that's no trouble. So you can go over here, and I'm just going to go to my rotate panel. You can use your green arrow too, and I'll just rotate it 90 degrees clockwise so you can fit it in this area. Since you do have a little bit more space with the sticky flock, we always like to see what else we can fit in there. Like, let's say you have some letters you want to do, or some smaller designs that you want to get done for another job or another project. Go ahead and stick them over here. You know, maximize the space. So you go over here, and I'm going to rotate this again. So you can set these up, and you have these there, and you're all set to cut. So especially with a 2-color rhinestone design, the important part is to make sure you do keep this square the same, because when you do layer your rhinestone design, and I'll have a tutorial up for you later on that, and we do have many tutorials on that on our YouTube channel. When you do layer your 2-color design for rhinestones, you're going to line up these boxes, and that's how you get this paw print in the right spot inside this dog lever part. So when you do use your hinge method with your hot fix transfer tape, you'll be able to hinge it right over. Have you guys done any multicolor rhinestone designs, or have you watched any of our tutorials on that? Great. So some of you have, some of you haven't. The hinge method is very helpful. I love using it. I think it is a great idea that Matt had, and it makes pressing multicolor rhinestone designs super easy. You can do it all in one press. So I definitely encourage you to go to our YouTube channel to look that up and see the best way to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and just open up a couple more designs so you can see the difference. But really, that's kind of all there is to it. It's pretty simple, and it helps. Oh, excuse me, I didn't get to mute in time. It helps a lot. And this yellow box can definitely, for some of your other designs, you can get rid of it, but especially for your rhinestone designs, I do recommend keeping that in there. And for some of our other designs, it is helpful to have that yellow box in there, because it will be your weed box. So, Durant, how do you save? That's a great question. What you can do is once you bring in this SVG file, you can't re-export it out as an SVG file. However, you will have that original SVG from us at the Rhinestone World if you ever do upgrade your software. But what you do is there's a couple different options that you could do. You can go to File, and you can save as, you can either save it as just a Silhouette Studio file. You'll name it in, you can import it, or you can even save it to your library. So over here, it just went into my own design. So I'm going to go over here to this untitled one. So let's say I'm just starting off in my Silhouette Studio, and I want to just go ahead and grab that. I've already got it laid out. I just go to Library, Recent Downloads, My Own Designs, and here you go. So it's all laid out. I would just have to adjust my cut area. but it's all there. And so if you go over here, I'm just going to go over to the cut settings to show you what this looks like. So over here, and we'll go to cut settings. So as you see, you can see that you can look through advanced, you can cut by color. So I can also turn off this dog lever one. If it's not on your cut area, it won't cut either. But you can see when you have your black and your yellow selected, it's going to cut your sticky flock circles, and it's also going to cut your square. So that's a great way to check to make sure you have everything right. If it does turn into this bold line, then it is going to cut. And that's about it. You can just go and adjust your cut settings. We do have in our documentation the sticky flock cut settings for you, but that's how you do that. And so I'm just going to do one more for you. I'm going to bring in one of our vector designs and show you how to do that. So I'm going to go over to File, Open, and I'm going to do the Summer Shark design. So have you guys seen this design? We just put that out a little bit ago. So we have this little shark. We just did that. And I've seen a lot of people put it up. I like this design a lot. So as you can see, we have all the different colors set up here, and then we also have this one for you to look at. So definitely there are a couple different ways that you can do this. It's all up to your preference. Since these are different colors here, and you don't need this whole weed box, you can also, oops, that's not what I want. You could also get rid of this box, or you could keep it. So like for the summer 2015, this weed box is a pretty great size, so you can always bring this into your cut settings, and if you can see, it's a little bit larger than the cut area, but we also have our cut area at 9 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to a standard 12 by 12 for silhouette. So we have this, and we have our summer 2015. So you can lay that in our cut setting and move this out of the way, and we have our first cut ready. So when we go over there, you just go to cut settings, and it'll cut this. And if you can see, when you hit advance and it shows these lines aren't turning dark. They're not going to cut. So you're all set there. So you do that, and then let me go back to my design page settings to show you. So let's say you wanted to get just these vector parts and you don't want to cut the box. So I'm going to move this out of here. And pretty simple, you select your shape, you're going to go to Object, and you're going to ungroup it. So now you can see this little boxes out of here. So I'm going to go here, take this yellow box, and delete it. That's it. I just hit delete. And then you can go over here and set it up. And since these are different colors, you could set it up here. And you could either draw another box around it, or I'm just hitting undo. Or you can take this box and resize it. I just edit points, sorry. So you can go ahead and you can make this box smaller. I don't really know why it's moving like that. I'm assuming this is one of the famous glitches from the new silhouette upgrade. But then, you know, you just have your yellow box, your weed box, and you've made it smaller. And then I like to group it together. That's weird. So maybe I don't want to group it. But you can just adjust it, put it in your box, set it up in your cut area, and you're all set to go. So that's how you can cut. So that's a couple of different ways you could do vector designs. But the great thing about the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition is that it does have that SVG capability. So all of our designs at the Rhinestone World are very easy to bring in here. And I did get a question, where are the sticky flock cut settings? I'll go ahead and show it to you. We do have our settings on our website. One thing to note is that, you know, sometimes our machines just aren't having a good day. I know, especially if your blade is starting to go dull, the settings won't be exactly right. I always recommend doing a test cut. And so if you go over to our tutorials and documentation, you can go to documentation, then cutter specs and recommended cut settings. It's the third one in this list. You can go over here, and it'll bring you up a PDF file, and you can save this. If you go to this little button, you can save this. So you don't have to keep coming back to our website. So over here, what's very nice for us with Silhouette is that the Silhouette settings are at the very top. So you can go down and you can see that we have our thickness 14, our speed 10, and our blade depth setting 6. And you do want to do a double cut. So I'm Let me jump over to Silhouette and show you that. So I do have Dog Lovers still open. So I'm going to go to my cut settings, and I'm going to grab this screen and bring it on my other monitor so I can look at it. So you won't see what I'm looking at, but you'll see where I'm doing with Silhouette. So go over here, and we're going to do our cut settings. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to do, I like to do rhinestone template material and then adjust it from there. But you can also create a new setting. Did you guys know that you can create a new setting in Silhouette Studio? So I'm going to go over here, press the plus, and I'm going to name it. So I'm going to name it Sticky Flock. So now I'm on Sticky Flock, and you can see editing Sticky Flock. So I'm going to have my blade at 6. And if I'm sure you know this, but I want to say it, you do need to adjust your blade yourself. Adjusting it on here will not actually change the depths. You do have to do that yourself. So, so we have blade depth 6. You want a speed of 10. If you are doing a lot of rhinestones, I would suggest bringing the speed down a little bit just to make sure that the machine doesn't rush itself. And by default, it has thickness 33. You do not want that. You need to bring it down. It'll cut straight through everything. So you want your thickness to be 14. So I'm going to bring that up, and you're going to check double cut. So these are the settings, and then these will save. And so always remember, especially if you're doing a first cut or you're doing a cut in Sticky Flock that you haven't cut Sticky Flock in a while, do make sure you do a test cut. And that's easy. You'll just press test cut, and you'll go to your Silhouette and cut a tiny little test, and then you can see how it weeds. And so if you did get your settings right, it should weed fairly easily. If you do have some little circles that stay in the Sticky Flock, those are pretty easy to weed out. You can just stick it to a surface. We like to use, like a dry erase board, or they do make a weeding mat, and stick it on there, lift it up, and a lot of the circles will come up, and you can continue to do that. So that's a pretty fun setting, and I like doing rhinestones with it. And I'm sure you don't have to mirror your rhinestone template since it's coming that way, but you do need to mirror your HTV. So if we were to cut this with this vector, we do need to mirror it if we're going to do on HTV. So that's a quick little mini webinar on bringing in SVG files to Silhouette Studio. Do any of you have any other questions, or did you want me to go over anything else with that? It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple once you see it. Short and sweet. Quick little tutorial. We get to hang out and have a little lunch. Everyone here is on lunch right now. I like doing webinars when everyone's on their lunch break because it's quiet. I'm sure you can pick up from our YouTube videos that we have a lot of fun here. So every now and then, it's too much fun. No tracing required. Since these are brought in as SVG cut files, you don't have to trace anything. They're all cut ready. So it definitely cuts down on time. And especially if you are starting off and you want to try to build your business, we have these designs ready and you can sell them. Well, not the designs. You can sell the finished product, and you're all set from there. And yes, you can always go back to the website for the files you bought. You would log into your account and you would go to your order history, and they should all be there. And so, Dawn, that's a good question. Dawn asked, if you have a lot of stones in a design, how slow should you slow it down to? Really, it kind of all depends on how many you have and how big the design is as well. I always like, if I am going to slow it down, I would rather be safe than sorry. So I normally bring it down personally around 5 to half speed, and I go make a coffee or something, or I work on my next design. One thing to remember, if you are doing a large design, do keep in mind that your computer does not go to sleep, because if your computer goes to sleep, there are some cases where your Silhouette either stops cutting or it just thinks it's like a kid and the babysitter's gone, and it just like freaks out. And it cuts weird stuff. So keep in mind, especially if you are doing a big design, you do want to watch that. Dorina, send us an email for that question you asked. Just info at the Rhinestone World. We'll try to get that taken care of for you. Hopefully we can get that for you. James, when you add a new cut setting in Design Edition, does it have to be when you're cutting, or can I sit down and add several at once? Oh, of course. Yeah, James, you can do several at once. I mean, I just added a cut setting and I'm not actually cutting right now. So you can definitely put them in and set up all of your cut settings in one sitting. So I know a lot of people do that. I just haven't really done it. I don't know why. I think because I'm always teaching you how to adjust your settings, I don't actually put them in there. And so Renita just asked if I could go over separating the multicolor design for the dog lover. Yeah, that is so fast, Renita. So I'll do that really quick, and then if you have any other questions, I'll answer them, but then I'll let you guys go and have your lunch and everything. So I'm going to go over here to File, Open, and I have my dog lover SVG. Okay, so we have it in here, and you can see it's all together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to ungroup it. And keep in mind, when you do ungroup this, it ungroups every single thing. So every single rhinestone will be ungrouped. So be very careful. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to group all this dog lovers. Group it. Oh, excuse me. And move this out of the way. I ate a sandwich really fast before my webinar, and so I shouldn't have done that. And then I'm going to grab this and group this. And the great thing about our rhinestone designs is we've already got them separated by color for you. So the work is pretty minimal. So we'll do this and group that. And we have these already. And the most important thing is to not resize this, because these stones are set to be the right size. So all you have to do is fit it in your cut area. If you're using a 9-inch roll of sticky flock, you just need to rotate this. So I'll rotate this clockwise. And then I'll rotate this. Lay it out in your cut settings. And also, especially, this one's a little bit easier, but if you are doing a multicolor rhinestone design and they're intermixed, these yellow boxes, your weed boxes, are very important to keep, because you can layer your sticky flock on top of each other or find a basic anchor for these so that you can do all the rhinestone colors with the hinge method. So this keeps the edges proportionate, and this will fit, if you were to layer this right on top, this fits perfectly in the dog livers. So, I mean, you can't see through it, but it'll fit perfectly in that spot. So that's basically how you separate by color. It's very easy. It's very simple. We try to make it as easy as possible for all of you. So that's a quick tutorial on bringing SVG files into Silhouette Studio. As always, you can give us a call at 941-755-1696 or email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com. I am teaching another webinar tomorrow. I will be teaching one at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be going over creating a custom design in Silhouette Studio. So if there's anything you want me to make, go ahead and let me know, or you can let me know in the webinar. We'll have some fun in there. And I have another webinar on Friday. I realized that I scheduled 4 webinars this week. I don't know why I did that, but I get to see you guys a lot. And Friday, I am actually going to show you how to do a custom design with our mascots, our Magic Cut mascots that have come out. So I know Matt's done a few tutorials with Stone Wizards, so I'm going to try to do a few with you. And keep an eye out. I am going to do a couple paid ones, the Silhouette version of the paid ones that Matt does. So we're going to try to get that going for you. So, you know, always email us or call us if you need anything, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone.